Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Ji ayanu, pakhairagale, ni hao, chune shumme, washmale, ohio gozaima's, guten morgen, hola, boyor, privyet, kaifa hal, halishuma chatore, ahlan wasalan, marhaba, buna, mucho, gracias, swabia, balli kare aya. And thank you very much everybody for tuning into PTV World. You're definitely watching World this morning alongside Shahzad Hasan Khan. I hope and I pray that everybody out there who's tuned into Pakistan television world as of now, or even if you're not tuned, ladies and gentlemen, I still hope and pray that everybody out there is doing wonderfully well and that you're ready to kickstart your day with me. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope and pray, as I said, but not just that, I think what I really need to kind of talk about today, early in the morning, is that today when I woke up early in the morning, as soon as I opened up my eyes, first of all, obviously, I was very thankful to Allah Almighty for blessing me with another opportunity, another day to achieve my goals and kind of be around my family, which I believe is great. The second thing I believe is very important for each and every one of us to make sure that we are mentally fit, that we are mentally healthy, that we are spiritually healthy, that we are emotionally healthy, that we are physically healthy as well. And what I did was that I said to Allah Almighty, Allah Mia, please, mera din bahut acha guzre. So ladies and gentlemen, with these small prayers, with your faith in Allah Almighty, with making sure that you actually are making Allah Mia responsible, how my day is going to go, so obviously it's going to be great. And other than that, obviously the weather over in Islamabad is just perfect. I think that the chilly weather is coming down now because it has been sunny for 2 or 3 days as well. And I certainly want it to be the way it is today because it wasn't really very cold. It was easier for me to cope up. It was easier for me to get up as well. So I believe that was wonderful. But other than that, you know that every single day we make sure that we're going to share some sort of good news with all of you. So what I'm going to do today is that for the very first time in the history of PSL, Pakistan Super League, now since we know that the season 7 is actually going to get started from tomorrow onwards at National Stadium, Karachi, this is for the very first time that the Prime Minister of Islamic Republic of Pakistan has actually kick-started the PSL season 7. Hence, I want to share this video with you guys. Can we please play it with the audio so that our viewers would know? All right, so it's wonderful, ladies and gentlemen, to see Prime Minister Imran Khan kick-starting the PSL Season 7 as well. From tomorrow onwards, we will see the matches, and that too, obviously, PTV Sports will be telecasting them live. Not just that, that too in HD. And yes, I think this is where I want to kind of congratulate.
PM time.
सातवें PSL को ओपन कर रहा हूं और मुझे उम्मीद है कि हर टीम आखिरी गेंद तक लड़ेगी और पब्लिक को एंटरटेन करेगी.
So ladies and gentlemen, may it be Karachi Kings, may it be Quetta Gladiators, may it be Lahore Qalandars, may it be Islamabad United or Peshawar Zalmi, all we really need to do, and or probably Multan Sultans as well, all they need to do is fight till the last ball. That's what our Premier says. Thank you very much, Prime Minister Imran Khan. And it was so different to see our Prime Minister kick-starting the PSL Season 7. Not just that, another good news, ladies and gentlemen, PTV Sports from today onwards, from 6 p.m. onwards, will actually be televised in HD. I think that's the best part as well. And just yesterday, Alhamdulillah, I would love to thank our Minister for Information and Broadcasting, Mr. Fawad Chaudhry, for trusting me, our MD, Mr. Amir Manzoor Sahab as well, and then Dr. Numan Niaz, who happens to be the head of the sports and syndication as well, because me and Rashid Bhai got to do the test run for the SG transmission of PTV Sports just yesterday. It's one of our own as well. So imagine, so PSL 7, that too in HD, I think that's a wonderful news. But now from Pakistan, we actually want to kind of share a very different sort of news, because for me it was very different when I read it. So imagine that NASA is actually going to pay people almost $1 million, and all they have to do is make sure that they come up with innovative ideas for the astronauts to have food. Wow, what a different news it is. Imagine that you'll be getting paid $1 million for that. So let me just get into a brief detail as well. New NASA challenge offers prizes for spouting astronaut food systems. Astronauts need hearty nutrients to maintain a healthy diet in space, but like any of us, they want their food to taste good too. As NASA develops concepts for longer crewed missions to Mars and beyond, the agency will need innovative and sustainable food systems that check all the boxes. In coordination with the Canadian Space Agency, NASA has opened the Deep Space Food Challenge. The goal is to generate novel food production technologies or systems that require minimal resources and produce minimal waste while providing safe, nutritious, and tasty food for long-duration human exploration missions. Wow, I just love it. Wow, NASA, you guys are doing a great job where you are actually giving each and every one of us an opportunity to earn $1 million, and that too with an out-of-the-box idea where we want all sorts of nutrition for our astronauts. And I believe that's important because if you're going to Mars, it's going to take way too long. So yes, we really need that. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, moving on, whenever we talk about nutrition, whenever we talk about food, we really need to kind of wake ourselves up early in the morning. And to do that, the 70% of the population of the world is actually relying on coffee. I have something very interesting to share about coffee. Please go ahead, take a look, and while you're taking a look, make sure that you take a sip of coffee as well. Let's do this. Good morning.
Coffee is a beloved beverage known for its ability to fine-tune your focus and boost your energy levels. It has been linked to a long list of potential health benefits, giving you all the more reason to get brewing. Coffee contains caffeine, a central nervous system stimulant that's known for its ability to fight fatigue and increase energy levels. This is because caffeine blocks the receptors of a neurotransmitter called adenosine, and this increases levels of other neurotransmitters in your brain that regulate your energy levels, including dopamine. Some research suggests that consuming coffee regularly could be associated with a decreased risk of developing type 2 diabetes over the long term. Research suggests that coffee may help protect against neurodegenerative disorders, including Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's disease. Coffee could alter fat storage and support gut health, both of which may be beneficial for weight management. Review of 7 studies shows each cup of coffee people consumed per day was linked to an 8% lower risk of depression. Research shows that the more coffee people drank, the lower their risk of death from chronic liver disease. Drinking 1 cup of coffee per day was tied to a 15% lower risk, while drinking 4 cups per day was linked to a 71% lower risk. Study in more than 21,000 people also found that increased coffee intake was associated with a significantly decreased risk of heart failure. 40 studies concluded that drinking 2 to 4 cups of coffee daily was associated with a lower risk of death, regardless of factors like age, weight status, and alcohol consumption. Coffee is often used as an aid by athletes looking to improve performance and increase energy levels. 9 studies reported that drinking coffee before exercise improved people's endurance and decreased their perceived exertion compared with a control group, even after the researchers adjusted for factors like age, belly fat, and physical activity levels. Coffee.
Wow, that's great, to kind of get to know so much information about coffee early in the morning. I believe everybody's going to be an avid believer in coffee from today onwards as well. And for me, whenever I'm at the gym and I do not have my pre-workout, I think black coffee is the way to go as well. But ladies and gentlemen, I think moderation is something I would want to recommend over here. That does not mean that since coffee has a lot of benefits that you can actually have 10 or 20 cups of coffee in a day. Because I've gone through it myself, too much coffee will actually kind of take you towards a little bit of palpitation and anxiety as well. I don't know, it might have a very different kind of impact on different sorts of people from different walks of life. But if you are tired and if your body needs rest and you give it coffee repetitively, things can probably not be on your side as well. So please make sure that whatever you do it in moderation. Now, when we talk about moderation, ladies and gentlemen, there's one more thing which I want to kind of connect with it, and that is that technology is one of those things which is not being enhanced in moderation. Technology, whenever we talk about it, is something everybody's working on. We talk about the 5th Industrial Revolution, and Pakistan needs to be in line with that as well, and it's because of the fact that we've already missed the fourth industrial revolution as well. And when we talk about technological interventions, let's talk about agriculture first of all. And I want each and every one of you to understand it, and it's because of the fact that for a country where the partial economy partially is actually dependent on agriculture. So imagine that, even if in our neighbors and the world over, what people have done is that the people have actually increased their yield per acres. And how they've done is that by introducing technology, not just agriculture, let's talk about medicine. Ladies and gentlemen, imagine that, with the help of MRIs, CT scans and all of these machines now, because we can use them, we can detect earlier than what we used to in probably, let's go back 20 or 30 years as well. So imagine, God forbid, if somebody has a tumor, you can catch it by the CT scan as well. God forbid, if there's a problem, if there's a disc prolapse, you go to do your MRI and you will certainly see within your own body what's going on. So technology has always helped, and technology has helped make our motorway smart, make our cars smart and our phones smart as well. How is technology evolving is something we are talking about today. We're very lucky that once again we've actually been joined by a technology expert all the way from Microsoft Seattle in USA as well. She happens to be Miss Muazma Zahid. Hello, assalamu alaikum Muazma. Welcome back. How are you doing today?
Assalamu alaikum, Shahzad. I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Absolutely perfect. Thank you very much for being so patient as well. And I find you at the same spot you were 2 days ago. How are you?
I'm doing great. How's your day going?
Okay, wonderful. So, our day is going great as well. And I've spoken about technology, and I'm an avid believer that technology is actually playing a very crucial role. And these days, the entire world is actually chasing their dream of making sure that they are the pioneers in artificial intelligence or quantum computing. We'll come back to that, but what I want to know is that how, in your words, do you think that technology has evolved over the years? Let's start from 1970s and 60s, where we didn't even had landline phones, or probably we did, but we couldn't afford it. But how do you think technology has evolved over the years, and where are we headed?
Thank you for that question. Yeah, technology is at the center of everything. So today I'm connecting to you thousands of miles away because of technology. And as you just talked about the industrial revolution, if I talk about the data field, that is where I am from, we started with the very basic like databases. We moved into the big data. Now we are talking about cloud computing. There's a lot of talk about machine learning and artificial intelligence, where are more kind of intelligent than humans, and it's actually increasing at a speed of twice or thrice the speed that it was 20 years ago. So you talked about that, like in healthcare and disease detection, in manufacturing, supply chain optimization. All of these fields are actually using technology at the core of it, and it's actually increasing at a very fast speed. So whatever you know today in terms of skills, it might not be relevant in the next 3 to 5 years. So it's very important for us to adapt. It's very important to have that learning mindset and to continue to evolve and learn as the world is growing in this field.
And thank you very much. That was a very comprehensive answer, and I believe that, you kind of spoke about everything which was important. But Muazma, my point over here is that when we talk about technology, and you said it yourself, that it's the technology we use today as in 2022 might not be relevant 5 years down the line, which I believe is great, because, that's the pace of how technology is changing. But imagine that the core use of technology is to make our lives simpler, better and healthier. Do you think that technology is doing that to us rather than making us more lazy, getting the food delivered at your place, not even stepping outside your houses to go, get groceries yourself? Everything is just a click away. So what kind of a sedentary lifestyle do you think technology will push us into? Because, well, okay, let me put it this way. Do you think technology is actually making us more lazier?
Yeah, so I think it's a very interesting question. I think humans over the time have become lazier if you look at the dependency on technology. But I think what is important for us to understand is it's not about just the harms of the technology, but how we use it in every single day. As I said, like I'm connecting to you through thousands of miles away because of technology. I can actually do a lot more with my work and my day, and everything that I do, I need to get done for my kids, for my family, for my parents living in Pakistan. It's much easier, right? So thinking about those aspects, it's important that we think that it's very important, and it's actually part of everything that we do. It is definitely making us lazy, but it's important for us to know that we set aside some time for exercise, get out of your daily routine, get some fresh air, and I'm definitely sure that the weather in Islamabad is definitely supporting that.
Well, that's wonderful, and I forgot to mention that people are even getting married because of these new technological applications available, and how they can actually get to greet and probably see their future partners as well, which I believe is great. But now when we talk about technology, unfortunately, we talk about digitalization over here in Pakistan. Alhamdulillah, we're thankful that the PTA, as incumbent government, kind of pushes it to make sure that Pakistan is actually at par with the technologies which we see world over, worldwide as well. Now, but unfortunately, I think that we have been weaker on the technological intervention side as well when we talk about agriculture, when we talk about medicine, when we talk about any field for that matter. I think in banking, the banks have coped up with technology as well, where online banking and all the transactions have become online now. What kind of suggestions would you have for Pakistani people where we need smart technology? Because when we talk about technologies, the technology, same technology which we want to use in 2022 is so expensive for Pakistan to afford that unfortunately we kind of miss the opportunity to have that luxury of technology with us. So don't you think that there needs to be smart technological interventions where the technology is for each and every one of us? I'll give you the example of internet, where how, sir came up with the, I actually used to remember the name, but I do not remember the name now, but the founder of internet himself gave internet a gift to the humanity so that each and everyone can use it. But with technologies, that's not how it is, so don't you think that there needs to be a code of conduct when we talk about technologies being released so that each and every one of us can use it and benefit from it?
Yeah, I think definitely. So technology, as we talked about, there is way more innovation every single day. As we talked about, the speed at which technology is innovating is also, and research is at the center of it. So Pakistan is actually doing really, really well in the last 3 to 5 years, as it was when I was, let's say, graduating from college back in the day. So in terms of research and bringing that research into industry is where you will see the future of technology innovation. The thing that I'm really, really proud of is the youth and the new generation of Pakistan, which is about 220 million plus people under the age of 30. They are the ones who have mobile phones in their hands, which is like few kind of fingertips, the technology is away. So instead of kind of spending time on the things that you use for, let's say, social media and other places, I'm not saying anything against them. There's a lot more that you can do if you kind of spend towards the goals and things you want to learn. There's so many courses that you can take. There is projects that you can do. You can do freelancing. There's a lot more work out there that Pakistanis are really, really doing. And I see the reports from like the IT export for the last 2 years, which is really booming. And also, if you look at the startup ecosystem right now, it's also very, very amazing, the work that has been done. So all in all, I believe that future is really bright for the youth, for the people who are graduating right now. You can learn anything. Sky is the limit. If you be consistent, if you do the hard work, put aside 15 minutes a day for one thing that you want to learn and keep working at it, definitely you'll get to the places that you want to. The second part of your question about like the concerns. So anything that you touch, there is always going to be pros and cons, right? There's no one silver bullet that you can go with it without the cons. So it's important to understand, if you talk about artificial intelligence, there's a lot of industry talk about ethics in AI, what is okay, what is not okay, and there's a lot of research being done and then eventually turned into products that we can all use, and actually every single day can affect our lives in a very, very important ways. Just looking at COVID, the vaccine development, everything like that, it would not be possible. It won't be possible if there was not technology involved.
Yeah, and I want to second that as well, because I think it was because of all of these technological advancements that we were able to survive amidst COVID as well, because otherwise being in quarantine or being in isolation all by yourself and not being able to FaceTime your family members or probably anybody who's your friend, I think it would have been difficult. But you're very right, that all of these courses are available, and if you have the intent, anybody and everybody can learn that, and it's not rocket science. Thank you very much for saying that, because I want my people to understand it, because only after research and with that intent we will be able to cope up with that. But since we are talking about technologies as well, and I want to talk about medicine and technologies and how we can actually predict heart attacks just way before they're going to happen. But before I kind of move on to that, I want to have a better understanding of metaverse. Can you please explain to our viewers what metaverse is and how everybody is going to operate, and what non-fungible tokens are, and how all of these pictures on your computers are being sold for millions of dollars? What's happening?
Yeah, I think it is something where, as I said, technology is advancing at a very fast speed. So all of these terminologies that you just use, if they are brand new to you, please go do open your favorite search engine and find more about that. Starting with what metaverse is basically a combination of the world that we live in, which is the real world and the
Yep.
virtual world. So think about a surgery that a surgeon wants to do. I'm taking an example right there where the surgeon is not present in the room, but he or she can be miles away and can be in an environment which is basically based on augmented reality or a virtual reality, and he or she can perform that surgery from miles away. So if this seems to be a very kind of vague idea, and actually recently somebody was able to do the very first run of it. So companies are going into this area where augmented reality and virtual reality will become a part of everyday life. Right now, it is being used in a lot of gaming applications. You see gaming where you can be, where you use an avatar, where you are that person, and you can do that in a different mode. But think about the future where the things will combine together, where you will wake up, you will see your
Avatar
stats,
right in front of
how
you.
well did you sleep, and how did you exercise, and it will also give you the schedule around what you can do for the rest of the day. And also you can connect with anyone in that reality. That would be a combination of both, so both physical and virtual world.
Yeah.
So that's what metaverse is, and definitely NFTs and all of that. We can talk about that in hours, but it's the decentralization of how things were sold previously, which was a physical, rather than moving into a virtual world where these are the assets which can be tagged, and then over time they can be bought and they can be resold. So we are going into this world of blockchain. We are going into this world of artificial intelligence. We are going into this world of AR and VR. So definitely research on them. Look up what are the skills that are needed in this field, and if you start kind of learning today, definitely there's a lot of scope in future for those.
Exactly, that's wonderful, and thank you very much for kind of giving me a hint to my next question as well, because this is what I wanted to ask. As over here or probably anywhere elsewhere in the world as well, people break into your houses and you all of a sudden wake up in a shock as well. Do you think that can happen in metaverse as well? That your avatar's right in front of you, you're like, okay, hey, what's actually happening? I think this is something which is very important, because now when we talk about metaverse, I think that the next ever, God forbid, I do not want that to happen, but if, God forbid, one day there's going to be a war, I think it's just going to be after that data that people or the content people have been creating, because that's going to be very valuable. And I want our future generations to kind of work on that as well. So do you think that that metaverse or whatever information that metaverse has to share with us, or probably the options or the opportunities it's going to give to us, will not be broken by somebody, or somebody breaks into it and then kind of jumble it up? Because just a few days ago we saw this story where there was a hacker who said that he can actually control 20 of the Tesla cars by himself, sitting right in front of his computer. So it makes me a little scary or scared as well.
Yeah, I think when there is technology, when there is an advancement, there's always going to be people that are trying to actually hack it, right? They're trying to actually do things that may not be legal, may not be allowed by the law, but they would still try to go and do that. Right now, we actually saw 5x more hacking done, different types of kind of activities in the security area in the last 2 years because of COVID. People may be tired, staying home, so there is way more happening. So in the world that you're talking about in the future, I don't think that it would be without any of such threats. There are definitely going to be threats like that, but for every hacker out there, there are, let's say, 5 or 10 developers that are working to actually stop that. And I want you to be those developers. Everybody who is listening, I want you to be those folks who are in the OPSEC field, who are actually in the security field. There's a lot of demand in that also, where you can actually find these before an actual action happens. Look at the anomaly detection. Again, going back to my area, which is data and AI, I talk a lot about anomaly detection, how you can detect these things even before they are actually happening. And this is all based on, again, the knowledge and the field that you are in technology. So I am a very, very positive person. I'm very optimistic that we will have folks who will be able to stop these. And even if these worst things happen, we will know a way out, and we will be able to solve those problems as well using technology.
Wow, and where you said that you're optimistic and positive, I think it makes the two of us and the rest of the world as well, because that's where the direction is. of the entire world as well, and everybody needs to keep up with that, because if we really need to sustain a good lifestyle, I think we really need to cope up with technology, because technologies have always been helping humans as well. But very quickly, since we're talking about technology, I think that on a very lighter note, because we are a morning show as well, and we go out in 46 different countries, so whenever we talk about technology, imagine that we people have not been able to even kind of save our passwords from our spouses as well, or from our other halves. So, or probably remember the passwords for all of those applications we have in our cell phones. How do you think technology will make us more smarter when we see that it's making us dumber every single day? We do not remember a single thing. We rely on
Yeah,
technology so much.
Yeah, I think it is the dependency on technology which is making us that way. We are relying on it way more than we should. So there's a lot of, again, going back to the field that I am from, there's a lot of discussions around data privacy and the things that you as a user should know about those, right? So I always talk about that to my to my mentees, and also to people that I talk, especially the students, to think about that if you are saving your passwords in a file somewhere, or they are somewhere written on a piece of paper, they are definitely not secure. So just getting to know when you are actually using and technology, and there's no running away from technology, as it's used in every single thing that we actually touch these days. So it's important to actually be knowledgeable about the threats, about the problems that can happen, and also to secure yourselves in terms of what you're sharing, what is your data privacy, how you can do better about that, and understand that that there are problems that can happen, and how you can come and recover from that if that happens. So definitely do not save your passwords in plain text. Do not save them in on a piece of paper somewhere. Try to use again apps that are built for this, which will save those passwords securely for you, and reuse those over whenever when you actually build any of these, and use them anywhere that you use on online.
Wow, and you know what? I'm guilty of that, and it's because of the fact that I wrote all my passwords on the paper, then took a picture, and then tore the paper apart as well, but then forgot the password of my phone. So yes, obviously, it's just going to happen over and over again. But very quickly, because we have to wrap up this segment as well, I want you to kind of, set a path out for all of those people who are newer to technologies and want to learn about it, because there's a lot of online learning going on. There are learning management systems, there are new school systems, which have totally moved on or shifted on to being online as well. Number two, what I want you to do is that please, for anybody and everybody who wants to invest in technology, what is the right way to invest in technology? These two things. So, kind of a startup package for each and every one of us and our viewers who are out there. Because, if it's not going to come from you who actually works for Microsoft, I think I shouldn't be asking this question from anybody else. So please go ahead.
Yeah, so number one thing, as I said, learning is at the center of it. So if you have a goal to learn any technology, any framework, set aside 15-20 minutes every single day and go out there and learn that. Consistency is the key. So work on your goals every single day. Don't give up. Sky is the limit. That's the most important advice that I want to give to especially the young generation people who are graduating recently, to actually learn that. In terms of seeking help, there are a lot of communities out there that can help you. For example, I was part of Pakistani Women in Computing, which is a global nonprofit organization. There are other organizations such as American Muslim Women. There are so many like that in Pakistan, working on the grounds and outside of Pakistan, where you can connect with mentors and allies and basically people who are in the field and can help you and answer most of your questions if you get stuck on any of those problems. So definitely, there is no. I truly believe sky is the limit. You can start with anything, any skill, pick that up, stay consistent, do your work, do the hard work that is needed, and you will get there. Second part of your question, in terms of like if you want to invest, as I said, Pakistan startup ecosystem is booming right now. There's a lot of VC funds right now that are looking for. There's also angel investment. There are organizations such as Startup Grind. There are many others that you can join. They all have social media pages that you can follow. You can attend the local events to know more about that. And then if you're passionate about a certain area, find a startup in that area. Understand what they do, connect with the founders, connect with the people over there, and see if what you can do in terms of investment if you are looking for investment in that. So those would be my advice. Again, all the best. I'm really looking forward to what we see in the next 3 to 5 years coming out of Pakistan in terms of talent and technology. And I'm really grateful to be here and talking to all of you today.
Wow, that's wonderful. Thank you very much, Muazma, for being with us, for taking our time. And you know, this was the second time that we actually had you on the show. It was a complete honor, you know, for a woman who's so learned talking about technology. And I think that you were phenomenal with whatever you shared. And I believe that it's going to be really beneficial for our audiences and people over here in Pakistan. Thank you very much, Ms. Muazma, for being with us all the way from Seattle, USA. She happens to be the program manager for Microsoft. But now, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's about time that we kind of move on towards where, you know, Ms. Muazma repetitively said or talked about research and how education is very important and pivotal and how we really need to have smart education systems. But ladies and gentlemen, you know, moving on with technology or keeping up with technology is something which is essential in today's world or in today's life. And it's because of the fact that if you're not going to do so, I think you will be left behind, and then you might not even be relevant, because that's how people are working. There are parallel universe being created. For example, you know, one is the one where we live in, and then there's this metaverse where, you know, it's all about data, it's all about information, it's all about moving on, it's all about keeping up. But when we do that, I know that it's important, and what we tend to forget, ladies and gentlemen, is something that you know, we are the people of Allah Almighty, we are the people of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we really need to carry forward our values as well. We really need to carry forward our morals as well. We really need to kind of talk about the vision of Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, or you know, the dream which actually was with the Dr. Allama Muhammad Iqbal as well. But you know, so keeping up with technologies does not really mean that you give up on your values. Your values need to be there as well, because you know, ilm hasil karo chahe tumhe Cheen tak hi jana pade, and that's something that we're talking about. Newer model over here. We will talk about this model, and it's because of the fact that our Prime Minister, Mr. Imran Khan Sahib, has actually spoken about it. When we talk about single national curriculum, all of these things are now very evident within the curriculum, where we talk about Uswa Hasana, where we talk about Seerat Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and how we really need to take them forward, blend them with newer technologies, so we have a greater reach and that we have a better learning. But after a short break, don't go anywhere, we will be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for everybody who just got tuned into PTV while you're watching World This Morning alongside Shahzad Hasan Khan. Earlier, we were in conversation with a technology expert all the way from Seattle, USA, who happens to be a program manager at Microsoft. And she had quite a lot of cool stuff to share, which I believe is great. And to learn all of these cool things is great as well. But to unlearn all of those cool things which were taught to us by our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or our spiritual father, Dr. Allama Muhammad Iqbal, or our founder of Pakistan, Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, is not really cool. So there we have a gentleman who actually steps in and makes sure that he's going to give us very comprehensive education system within which we will be taught about our religion, we will be taught about Uswa Hasana, Sirat Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and there's a lot more which I really want to figure out today, because it's for the very first time that they've joined me on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, he happens to be an educationist, he's a social worker, he is Mr. Colonel Murtaza Ali Shah Sahab. Hello sir, assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Walaikum assalam. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for joining us.
Here.
It's wonderful to have you. And ladies and gentlemen, since we will be talking about the Emblem school system as well, where how they have devised a model which is going to give us complete knowledge about our religion, about how life needs to be, how you need to be in sports. Because when we talk about sports, ladies and gentlemen, we play sports because it kind of teaches us a lot of stuff about life and how we really need to be disciplined when eventually life plays games with you as well. So I think that's very important. But alongside Murtaza Ali Shah Sahab, ladies and gentlemen, we were lucky that we have an exemplary student of this exemplary schooling model as well, and he happens to Mr. Sayyid Ali Murtaza Sahab as well. Hello, assalamu alaikum, how are you? Good morning.
Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much for joining us. It's wonderful to have you to, or kind of be in the studio with such a smart person as you as well. Thank you very much, Ali, for being with us. But sir, first things first, please share what is the model about, how did you come up with this idea, and why do you think it's important and relevant?
Thank you very much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamid Majid. In fact, we are struggling, as the developing world is struggling for the education, and the models, kind of different models have been tried in our country. I feel that the dream which has been given to us by Hakimul Ummah, without that software, it is very difficult to make a hardware, or it is very difficult to see an outcome.
Right.
Our education system is a kind of certificate based, degree based system. So we need to have innovation, and how that innovation can come in, we have the divine message with us, and we have a best of the best pattern, life pattern of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So what we came up to a solution is again aligned with the government policy. Now we are very happy that government is also taking notice of that. Uswa Hasana is the key to success. Hikmat-e-Iqbal is a gateway to the Uswa Hasana. So we have coined a name, Emblem. This emblem is with A. Emblem is Abru-e-Millat baseline education and mentoring system.
Wow.
It's not merely an acronym, it's rather a synonym. The entire mission, the entire vision, the entire objective, the philosophy, the strategy is in this name.
All right.
Abru-e-Millat. It links with the Millat Ibrahim. And baseline education, for sure, unless you have a strong base, the education, the degrees and the universities cannot make a difference. So what we have tried, that build a strong base. It's that early 5 years, early childhood education which matters. So we are trying to bring the value-based education system in the early childhood education.
Oh, that's wonderful. Sir, a simple question, a very lighter note, because you talked about and what Emblem stands for as well, and how it's with an A, Abru-e-Millat as well. But why does it say Emblem with an E on his sash, and what is this sash for?
This is actually, Emblem is producing emblems of Pakistan with the spirit of unity, faith and discipline.
Wow.
The emblem with A is developing the emblems with
Is the Mother Institute.
Yeah,
and the product is the Emblem.
Emblem,
Wow.
which is emblem of Pakistan with unity, faith and discipline.
Wow, that's wonderful. But now, sir, since you mentioned that it's Hikmat-e-Iqbal, which is actually going to show the clear path of success, but I want to certainly know, how do you think that will happen? Because for the last 70 years, we might have ignored the Hikmat-e-Iqbal as well.
Yes, that is a bit unfortunate. But thank God, the present government is doing something in this direction. But we still wish that we go for the capacity building first.
True.
Because capacity building leads to the nation building.
Exactly.
We don't have the trained teachers. We don't have mentors. As in our name of our school, we are mentoring. So we are trying to create a chain of mentors from the students as well, from the teachers. So it's a continuous process. In fact, the earlier show you were talking about the technology.
Yep.
Technology has to be in the hands of the honest people.
True.
Hakimul Ummah say, Zindagi jo dast istikak nist. Juz ba ilmu anfus wa faq nist. That means the humanity flows with the divinity. And the spiritual strength and the institutional strength and the worldly prosperity, they are all interlinked.
True.
So this hikmah, which is given to us by Hakim al-Ummah, has to come in basic syllabus.
Sir, it's great. But Karan sir, what I want to ask you over here is that, since you mentioned, and I think it's a very important point where you said that we need teachers. We really need a lot of teacher building programs as well, where we train them, or teacher training programs. But now what I believe is that for the kind of preparation you have, I think it's in line with the schooling system because you envisioned it yourself. That's wonderful. But now, for example, and this is something which I'm going to ask Ali later on as well, that that majority of the students going to very different sort of schools and getting very different sort of education is something which will never give you the teachers you want, or the way you want Emblem to produce an emblem. Now, how do you think, or do you think that you have started to work in this direction where you want people who have the education of this dunya and the education of this akhira as well?
Yeah, this is a very pertinent question. We have launched a program known as TEST. Okay. TEST is transformation through entrepreneurs, scholars and teachers.
Wow.
In fact, we need these strong three pillars in the society. Unless we have good teachers, we can't build the society.
Entrepreneurs, scholars.
Yeah, entrepreneurs, scholars and teachers, and we are trying to inculcate this strength right from the baseline education. Right. We are trying to enable and empower the students right from the childhood. And there is another feeling. We are trying to create brotherhood right from the childhood in a way that the students sponsor the fee of different students who cannot afford the education.
Wow.
We are trying to give access to those students who do not have online access. So unless we give computers and we give devices to the students, this era was very difficult.
True.
Though we have been claiming, most of the schools have been claiming that they are online and they are teaching, but those families who cannot afford computer network, how would they come up to that limelight?
Exactly.
So
it's inclusion. So you're talking about inclusivity and how it needs to be out there for everyone.
And then it's actually we have to pay back. Those who can afford, they have to pay back their children. And we are trying to inspire our children and try to inculcate that feeling of Mohat Madina and Infaq fi Sabilillah amongst the children. And they're sponsoring other friends.
Wow, that's wonderful. So let me very quickly move on to Ali. Ali, are you ready for a couple of questions?
Yes.
So first of all, imagine that I'm your elder brother, if not your uncle, I think elder brother would do. So what I want to ask you is, how do you think that, that the school you go to, Emblem we're talking about, is way too different, and that this is the kind of school you would always want to study in, so you have to tell me that what are those different things or different probably curriculum or syllabus or activity or set of activities which makes you want to study in this school rather than going to a very traditional or a conventional school?
He can recite, I would suggest, he would also answer the question, but he can recite Persian Kalam very well.
Wow.
And he can recite Quran very well. And this is our strength. We are trying to give this strength to the students, that they just get into the Quranic knowledge first and then they go for the worldly knowledge. And as Hakim al-Ummah say, Quran mein ghota zan ho ay marde musalma, Allah kare ata tujhko jiddat kirdar. Now character building is linked with Quran.
True, obviously it is.
He recites very well.
And the piece of heart as well. So which is why, so first things first, let's hear a few verses from Quran, and then we'll move on to you sharing some Persian poetry with our viewers as well. So first a few verses. Bismillah.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. وَالسَّمَاءَ بَنَيْنَاهَا بِأَيْدٍ وَإِنَّا لَمُوسِعُونَ وَالْأَرْضَ فَرَشْنَاهَا فَنِعْمَ الْمَاهِدُونَ وَمِنْ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ خَلَقْنَا زَوْجَيْنِ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَذَكَّرُونَ فَفِرُّوا إِلَى اللَّهِ إِنِّي لَكُمْ مِنْهُ نَذِيرٌ مُبِينٌ وَلَا تَجْعَلُوا مَعَ اللَّهِ إِلَٰهًا آخَرَ إِنِّي لَكُمْ مِنْهُ نَذِيرٌ مُبِينٌ كذلك ما أتى الذين من قبلهم من رسول إلا قالوا ساحر أو مجنون.
Subhanallah, Jazakallah, it was beautiful as well. And you know, that's the kind of nurturing everybody wants early in the morning, and not just early in the morning, I think every day in their schools as well, which I believe is great. But sir, thank you very much for joining us. It was wonderful to be in conversation with you. Thank you very much, Ali, for joining us. It was wonderful to be in conversation with you too as well. And this surely tells us that, you know, that the future of our children is actually going to be bright. We want to wish you best of luck for all your future endeavors. And for anybody and everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure that you look for the Emblem, and that too with an A, online. And you know, if you want to get in touch with them, you can always write to us on our Facebook page, Instagram page, or Twitter page as well, which goes with the name of Wealth This Morning. The fabulous repeat is going to be at 5 past midnight. Till the next time, look after yourselves. 1, 2, 3. Good morning.